I'm not saying we're going to go win a championship, but I am saying don't let us win another fucking championship.
In the words of the commentator for the Portland Trailblazers, the Golden State Warriors just obliterated the Portland Trailblazers. As they should. The hallmark of a good team is that they thrash bad teams. And last season, the Warriors struggled to beat an even worse Blazers squad. But this last matchup gave me the sickest, meanest, baddest, I've had since the Warriors ran through the rest of the league, leaving total destruction in their wake and 29 hopeless fan bases. Hey, what's happening, everyone? This is Swish Culture. For all the hoopla surrounding the acquisition of a superstar talent, Steve Kerr might have solved this roster issue, to a degree. While he stressed that only 10 guys will make the rotation, Steve went 12 deep against a young and lengthy Blazers team that tried to run Golden State off the floor. And they did for about the first 5 minutes. Steve Kerr started off with his most sizable lineup that included Curry, Wiggins, Kuminga, Draymond, and Trace. It was a bit of a slow start on the scoreboard for Golden State, but a rather haptic pace on the floor. The first unit had trouble clicking and things didn't look good. It wasn't until Kerr made a few substitutions that the tides really turned. Hield, Melton, Moody, GP2, Pods, and Anderson came off the bench and blew away starters and second unit players alike from Portland. While Kerr ran a small four-guard lineup, the shooting from this second unit along with the defense sealed off the POA. There is indeed something really special about this team. This team is simply too good. And while we knew they'd be good, the fact that they're this good is a bit unfair to the rest of the league. And I'll tell you exactly why. Before that, however, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to Swish Culture for the most analytical and entertaining NBA content on the planet. Now get ready. You're about to get Why is this Warriors team so unfair? Let's start at the top. The Warriors have typically been in the upper segment of the Western Conference. In the last 10 years, the team has managed to keep an above 500 record with the exception of 2020. Their overall record currently stands at 453 to 259, giving them a 64% win percentage or 52 games per season. That has been the average. Also, in most prior years, the Warriors don't have as much shooting, nor do they have as much depth. You know, let me emphasize that a bit. The Warriors were running lineups that featured Quinn Cook and Alfonso McKinney as starters in a year they almost won the NBA championship. Considering this was only a few short years ago, it is interesting to note that neither of these two are currently playing basketball. And for the three blowhards that will inevitably troll the comment section on this and only this specific part of the video, Cook left his team back in May of this year, and McKinney's contract was terminated in August after a medical exam. Now, where were we? Oh yeah, championships. While the preseason isn't exactly a good indicator of winning a championship, as a lot of people on social media seem to be suggesting as of late with regard to the Warriors, this team is in fact serious when it comes to winning. Now, don't get me wrong. I'd love to have a debunking session on the myth of doing well in preseason translating to winning a championship, but let's focus on the tangible aspects of this team. Like, for example, the fact that Trayce Jackson-Davis has grown an additional inch since he was signed by the Warriors. While his actual current height wasn't given, Warriors reporter Kerith Burke posted a tweet regarding a conversation she had with Mike Dunleavy Jr. When translated for proper grammar, the tweet reads, Mike Dunleavy Jr. told me that Trayce Jackson-Davis grew an inch in the offseason, and TJD said he was surprised he grew. He knew something was up when his knees got achy. He said he's fine, nothing a little Tylenol and ice packs can't handle. Well, considering Trayce was all of 6'9" last season, we're looking at a 6'10" shot-blocking rim protector in Trayce Jackson-Davis in full force going up against a prime former first overall pick in DeAndre Ayton. While Ayton got by TJD once or twice, the 6'10er eventually figured out how to shut down the 7-footer. While Ayton finished with 10 points and 11 rebounds in 31 minutes, Trace finished with 14 points and 4 rebounds in 25. But it gets worse. Trace went 5 for 5 shooting. Ayton, 5 for 12. That's 10 points on 12 shots for Ayton. 14 points on 5 shots for Trace. But then, it gets even worse. The 2 years older and 2 inches taller Ayton is set to make $34 million this season. Meanwhile, Trace sets the Warriors back less than $2 million this year. Not only are the Warriors getting a player with a lengthier career outlook ahead, when it's all said and done, Trace might actually be a better player than Ayton. To think TJD was somehow still on draft boards at 55 is the literal definition of criminal. This, however, is the point I'm trying to make, which is that the Warriors did really well in drafting TJD last year, as he's the clear starting 5 in only his second year on a team with championship experience and expectations. Best believe he'll learn how to guard Jokic and AD with enough reps. He's a very high IQ player, so all he needs is time. He is a problem. The next player that is completely dominant in what he does is Buddy Hield. Hield is a lethal weapon. It was very evident that Steph Curry absolutely loves playing alongside Hield. If you didn't get that from all the compliments Steph Curry would throw at Hield courtside. Now, while the two won't be starting together considering the focus on defense this season, there is a certain aura that takes over when Curry plays next to Hield. After struggling with this the last couple of seasons, Curry seems genuinely ecstatic to be playing alongside a player that will knock down those open looks. A quick look at that box score shows that Steph had a double-double with 10 assists and a near triple-double with 9 boards. It's much easier to get double-digit assists when you have shooters, and Hield is a next-level sniper with absolutely unreal talent. Even if those looks aren't open and he's got a full closeout hand in his face, he is still pulling up like the plumber and draining it. In 15 minutes, Hield poured in 22 points, shooting 5 of 7 from 3. The amount of attention that Steph draws, you can tell Hield isn't used to this because he's hitting these shots like practice. Yeah, Steph turns regular season games into pickup for his shooters. I'm not exactly sure how long this will last, considering the Buddy Hield cycle might be a thing, but if this keeps up, there's no question about who's winning the championship. For those who don't know, the Hield cycle is where Buddy supposedly shoots great for a couple of months and then goes into a slump. It appears his worst shooting month is November, averaging 37% from downtown, with October coming third on that list at 39%. His best month is January, where he shoots an average of 42%. For perspective, Klay shoots 34% in October and above 40% every other month over his career. Over the last 2 seasons, however, Klay has only shot above 40% in February and April. That said, if October is Hield's 3rd worst shooting month, I'm sure the Warriors can weather the storm for November. Moses Moody showed up going 3 for 8 from distance and dropping 15 points in his 15 minutes. You can see that he's become a lot more aggressive and in attack mode on the offensive end. However, he's also been very focused and vigilant on the defensive side as well. Everything we saw in the preseason translated to the regular season in the first game for Moody. As long as he keeps this up, Kerr won't be able to keep him off the floor. Keep an eye on the shooting guard and small forward spots. While the first unit with Wiggins, Kuminga, Draymond, and Trace recovered in the second half, if JK isn't able to flow within that fast-paced offense, Steve might be forced to put Wiggins at the 3, and at that point, Melton and Moody may be vying for the 2 spot. Melton alone had 3 steals, and Kyle Anderson had 2 of his own, showing you how important these signings were to the team. This is the exact reason why they were signed, and the Warriors are now reaping the benefits. Defense, defense, defense. Forcing Portland to turn over the ball and attacking in transition for high percentage baskets allowed the Warriors to destroy the Blazers, opening up the lead to a staggering 30 points in the 3rd quarter. If I'm being honest, this team being in the same league is just a formality. In theory, it might have been more beneficial for the Warriors to rest Curry and have Santa Cruz handle Portland. Even the guys that were out of the rotation, like Waters III and Santos, were running amok in the Moda Center. This depth at Golden State is a spectacle because absolutely no other team will have their bench run starters out of the gym the way this Warriors bench can. While there are other teams with good second units like OKC, Boston, and Denver, the Warriors' bench unit is filled with players that could thrive in a starting role. Now, for some of the not-so-good things that I noticed, it was that the pace seemed a bit much for Kuminga to handle at first. It didn't seem that he could find a rhythm. It also seemed like he was playing a different game and not what we saw him play last year. There seemed to be more of an emphasis on facilitating and shooting rather than getting out and running and finishing, something which we saw more of in the second half. He would force the plays instead of letting them come to him. Draymond is already pacing the Warriors with texts, which is a cause for concern if only because him missing from the lineup due to suspension could ruin chemistry and team camaraderie as well as his ability to lead. Potts couldn't find a shot, but definitely made his presence felt elsewhere, finishing with a plus 34, the highest of any player and not scoring a single point. 4 assists, however, and 7 rebounds shows that he was doing a lot more than looking for his own shot. That will eventually come around. However, 2 hours after the game, Paz was seen in the gym putting up shots. He does not only talk about it, he is about it. And that's my take on the Warriors' latest performance. But let me hear what you guys think. What were you most disappointed with and what were you most impressed with in terms of the team's performance? What would you change with the lineups going forward? Post your thoughts in the comments below. Before that, however, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on all your notifications so you don't miss any of my latest uploads. Thanks for watching. Till next time. Swish.